The New England Patriots keep getting good news heading into their game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron. This is Sports Talk Patriots on the daily, pushing out content for people just like you who love Patriots football. So do me a favor before we get started, hit that subscribe button, like, and as always, comment below at some point. So today what we're going to be talking about is Bengals players. Who's going to be playing? Who's not going to be playing? Let's jump into that. As well, we're going to be talking about their depth chart and what that's going to be looking like potentially with these injuries and other players sitting out. And then as well, the Patriots tried out some tight ends, so we're going to jump into that and look into that. So without further ado, jumping into injury report when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals. T. Higgins on the injury report. What the heck? Nope, not that ad. Don't need Chanel. There we go. Read mode, the best. So that being said, T. Higgins on the injury report, a hamstring injury, which is rough. This is something that could hinder him for the season. I never wish ill will on any player, but for the Patriots, this is not bad news. Ideally, you're looking at now basically a rookie wide receiver and then a second year, a sophomore wide receiver, if you want to call it that, playing the 1 and 2 potentially, depending if Jamar Chase plays. I am leaning towards Jamar Chase is going to be playing now that all this news about T. Higgins, but again, he is still questionable. T. Higgins is doubtful. So this would be huge for the Patriots just because this offense, a lot of analysts, I always use the quotations, experts have said that the Cincinnati Bengals offense is supposed to be humming, supposed to be great, even though they've lost Mixon. And now they have Zach Moss, though I think is a pretty massive downgrade compared to Mixon. Apparently, it's supposed to be really great. We also know they added a certain tackle. I will not name his name. But that being said, I think the Cincinnati Bengals, when it comes to this game, are going into it thinking, hey, and especially Jamar, if he doesn't play, he's going in with the aspect of, hey, I think we got this game pretty good. We think we can dominate their offense, and we can put up enough points to get the dub without T. Higgins, obviously, without Jamar Chase. So we will see what happens. Do you think both of them don't play, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? Do you think one of them just doesn't play, which would most likely be T. Higgins? What do you think is going to happen between that two? Because I feel like every day I start looking into it more. At first it was Jamar Chase, questionable. We'll see. He ended up at practice, but still questionable. A lot of people think he might not play. And then all of a sudden, boom, T. Higgins, hamstring, very doubtful, probably not going to play. You look at any fantasy insider, which those are the people that, hey, there's a lot of money involved in that. They are trying to figure out all those different things. They're saying, don't start him, don't start him, don't start him. So what do you think that situation is going to be? Now, if we dive into it deeper, we look at the Cincinnati Bengals depth chart. We look at T. Higgins. Again, he's on the injury report. That is why he is red down here. All right. And so the players would be, the wide receivers that we would be looking at would be Andre, I can't say that right, number 80, over there playing the slot. Now, it would be him. I'm not even going to try to say his last name, but it would be him. He's a second-year player. Last year actually has some decent stats. We'll jump into that in a second. And then you have Jermaine Burton. If you watch any college football, he came from Alabama, a solid wide receiver, but zero experience when it comes to the NFL. So he would be like Jalen Polk or Landon Robinson coming into the game with zero NFL experience, possibly starting. Again, I think it's more likely that you see Jamar Chase in. Obviously, I really think T. Higgins will not be playing, will not be in there. So we look at Andre. Guys, again, I teach PE. I'm not a grammar teacher. Trying to pronounce it as best I can. The guy from Princeton, 6th round pick in the 2023 draft. Last year, you look at his stats, and we know that the Bengals had injuries when it came to their wide receiver core. And so he played in 16 games. He almost averaged a reception per game and had 116 yards. But here's what's crazy. He had 4 touchdowns, which is pretty impressive. He has pretty solid size and apparently pretty good speed. Now, what's interesting is typically, a 6th round pick, you don't necessarily see as always making the team. And so it's going to be interesting to see moving forward what it's going to look like for him. Now, I'm thinking when it comes to our secondary, these young bucks right here are going to be able to hopefully get locked down. I would much rather our secondary face them than Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Two guys that you could argue are the best 1-2 wide receiver punch in the NFL. So what do you think? Comment below. What do you think that situation is going to look like? Do you think that Jamar Chase is actually going to play and he's going to stop holding out? Again, I'm thinking that is more likely, and T. Higgins are probably going to sit just to be safe because, again, I think they're thinking, hey, we want to keep him. This is literally week 1. We don't want him to play, make it worse, and then he's out longer, which makes total sense, and I totally understand and agree with that. So comment below. What do you think? As well, what do you think about these young receivers if you know anything about them? Again, I think Burton, I actually really liked him coming out of Alabama. Again, this draft class, the 2024 draft class, was wide receiver heavy. I look at Javon Baker. I think in most years he is picked higher in a wide receiver class, as well as Polk. I think you could argue that Polk is a first-round pick in most draft classes. But if you go back and look at the draft, there was so many wide receivers taken early, especially offensive players taken early. So again, Burton, he could surprise. Listen, I'm never sleeping on Alabama wide receivers. Okay, so next, the Patriots hosted some tight ends. I don't think this is anything crazy. Just thought I would bring it up. Just because the interesting fact is they kept 3 on the 53-man roster. So we have Henry, Hooper, and Bell. And then on the practice squad, you have Wilcox. So what's interesting is you have technically 4. So why are we trying out these other players? Well, apparently one played in Cleveland under AVP. He was on the practice squad. So that's Mitchell Payton. Okay, I get that. And then Irv Smith Jr. I don't think it's anything that's going to be there's going to be any changes when it comes to the practice squad or the 53-man roster. Just interesting how the whole dynamic of hosting players, what that is like. And a lot of times it's throwing a bone to a player. Again, someone maybe you've coached before, maybe you've, have some sort of rapport relationship with, because it looks better when you're trying out for other teams. So I totally understand that. Helps the player out. The coaches, hey, gets eyes on them. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. That being said, game tomorrow. What are you thinking? I'm going to put out a video tomorrow morning before the game. Check that out. We're going to be talking about some other good things, possibly bad things. And then at the end of that video, we're going to be talking about just predictions. And I want to hear your prediction tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow morning. Catch that episode. Again, on your way out, hit that subscribe button, like, then comment. There we go. You guys rock. My name's Aaron, Sports Talk Patriots. Peace.